to bet that all of you have heard the story of the three little pigs. Am I right? Am I right? I'm also willing to bet that none of you have heard the real story of the three little pigs. And that's because you haven't heard my side of the story. My name is Alexandria T. Wolf, better known as the Big Bad Wolf. But that Big Bad Wolf thing is all a mistake. They've got me all wrong. I mean, can I help it if I like to eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheep and, well, pigs? I mean, if cheeseburgers were cute, well, think that you're big and bad too. But like I was saying, that Big Bad Wolf thing is all a mistake. It all started with a nasty, sleazy cold and a cup of sugar. Once upon a time, I was making a cake for my dear old sweet granny. But I ran out of sugar. So I decided to take my empty cup and go borrow some sugar from a neighbor. Meanwhile, a few days prior, I was coming down with a nasty, sleazy cold. Well, we went to the neighbor's house to borrow some sugar. And this neighbor was a pig. I mean, his yard was nice and clean and everything, but literally he was a pig. Like, oink, oink. And he wasn't too bright either. I mean, he had built his house out of straw. Who builds his house out of straw? So of course, when I knocked at the door, it fell in. And I just didn't want to go walking into his house, so I called out, little pig, are you in? No answer. So I was just about to walk away when I felt a sneeze coming on, and I began to huff and puff, and I blew out a wet sneeze. And do you know what happened? Does anybody know what happened? The house fell in. Straw flew everywhere, and when the dust cleared, there lay the little pig, as dead as a doornail. What is a dead doornail? Anyway, there it was, a nice ham dinner. I'm feeling a little bit hungry, so I ate them. Well, after that, I'm feeling pretty satisfied, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar for Granny's cake. So I picked up my empty cup and I walked to the next neighbor's house. Now this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little bit smarter, but not much. He had built his house out of sticks, and he even put a doorbell on his house. So I rang his doorbell. No answer. So I call out, little pig, are you in? And he calls back, get out of here, Wolf. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. So I thought that wasn't very nice. So I'm about to leave, and I felt another sneeze coming on. And I began to huff and puff. And I blew out a wet sneeze. And do you know what happened? Do you know what happened? The house fell in. Dust flew everywhere. And when the dust settled, there was the second little pig, as dead as a second doornail. So I had a little more room in my tummy, so I ate them. Well, I'm feeling real full right about now, but I still did not have the sugar for Granny's cake. So, I picked up my cup, and I went to the next neighbor's house. Well, this third neighbor was the brother of the first and second little pigs. And he apparently was the brains of the family because he had built his house out of brick. So, I knocked at his door. Little pig, are you in? And do you know what this rude little porker said? Get out of here, Wolf, and don't come back again. I thought to myself, that's impolite. bet he had a whole sack full of sugar in there and wouldn't let me get one miserable cup for my dear old granny's cake. So I called back, all I want is 1 cup of sugar for my dear old granny's cake. And do you know what he said? He said, your granny can go sit on a pen. Thought, it wasn't very nice. You know, normally I'm a real calm wolf. But when you talk about my granny, I get a little bit crazy. I wanted to get back at this wall, so I began banging on his door and kicking. Meanwhile, I'm huffing and puffing and blowing out sneezes. And do you know what happens next? The police pull up. That pig had called the cops on me. So of course the cops hauled me off for breaking and entering and trespassing and disturbing the peace and a few more trumped up charges. Well, do you know what happens next? CNN gets a hold of the story. But they figured a sick wolf looking for a cup of sugar to bake his dear old granny a cake just didn't sound exciting enough. So they jazzed it up a little bit. They're the ones that put the information in about the big bad wolf going around blowing down houses. You know what? I cannot get a fair trial in this town. Bottom line is, I was framed. Mr. Toastmaster.